Alright, as you guys can probably see, I've been using the new mill quite extensively. I got a big cleanup job ahead of me. It's working really well. Oh, probably don't want the sun right in your eyes, huh? There we go. It's working really well, and I have no real complaints. It is making sort of a weird sound, almost like one of the bearings is not quite running true. But I went and talked to the guy I bought it from. He says just because it's a brand new mill, so just give it some time to break itself in, and everything should be okay. And it's got a 2-year warranty on it, so a couple months from now, if it's still unsatisfactory, I'll just take it back. Quick note. This is, get a quick picture there, model number CT129N. The table size is not the table travel. It uses an MT3 collet and 6-watt DC motor, 600-watt DC motor. As I said in my last video, I got the Graz 3-inch mill vise. It comes with the ability to tilt it up and down and also to spin it. The mill itself came with these T-posts. It also came with this drill chuck, which I'm using until I get the collets. They were out of stock at the time I bought this. I'm not going to play with the rotary table yet. I just want to show you what else this guy came with. Now, they call these tools. They're not really tools. They're more like get you by type things. I got a set of Allen keys. I already have a full set in my toolbox. This is the box that the drill chuck came in. This is the box the collet for the drill chuck came in. A couple cheap ass screwdrivers. And probably the only thing in the kit that I'll actually be using is a little oiler bottle. But I don't have any oil for it yet. So that's what came. And also the keys, if they're up here somewhere. Got a set of keys here to lock this cabinet. Excuse me. Some things I didn't get, which I will be getting, like I said, the collets. They're back ordered, so I'm just using the drill chuck for now. Not designed for lateral force, only designed for vertical force. So you got to be really careful that you don't break these things. I've broken the teeth off of them before. Also, I'm going to be picking up a set of center drills. And beyond that, I can pretty much make everything I need. Like this guy, for instance. I'm not going to pull it out because it's difficult to do that one-handed and all that. But I made this. This is the first thing I made. It's a piece of 1/2-inch pipe and a piece of 1/2-inch pipe with 2 screws, a piece of drill rod that I've ground to the right angle, and turn that into a fly cutter. And if you can see the difference in colors here, you can see what's been cut and what hasn't been cut. Here you go. Look at focus. I also made, not really happy with the way this turned out, but I'll use it and see how it works. It's just a boring bar. Again, I used a piece of drill rod for the cutter. I could heat treat these both, But I'm going to be working with aluminum for the most part, so I'm not going to bother heat treating them unless I really have a need to. But this one is 90 degrees. This one, I just take and flip it around. There's a screw hole there. And yes, it's very off-centered. But that's 30 degrees, I believe. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you guys, if I can stay blocking the sun, I'll give you guys a shot of my fly cutter doing its thing. Now, this is loud, so I'm probably going to either lower the sound or put something over it, so just expect that. And there it is, one homemade fly cutter. But you can see there, originally when I showed you, the colored line came right down this slope here, and then about here it started to take off. So, and this is just a piece of scrap aluminum I've used as a block to pound stuff with a hammer. So it's not exactly square or anything. One quick note about this machine. Actually, two quick notes. I got it at Busy Bee Tools. I think they're exclusive to Canada. I know that they are they're based in Canada, and all of the equipment comes from a Canadian factory. Another note that I wanted to make, I'll try to block the light so you can see what's going on here. Something that I need to mention here is if you go from forward to reverse, your spindle is now going half speed. Okay, it doesn't matter what your high-low setting is. You got, I know it's hard to see, but you got low over here, you got high over here. I usually just keep it in low, that's all I need. But if you go from forward to reverse, you're halving the speed of the spindle. And so because of that, when you go to 0, it's essentially the same thing as hitting your emergency kill. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in neutral so that doesn't spin. We're going to stick that down all the way to the bottom, and I'll show you. Okay, this is going to come up 0. Oh, we got to be, this is another thing I was going to talk about, but I'll talk about it in a second. Okay, you can hear it spinning. You can see it's on, but then it's the exact same thing as hitting the emergency switch, like this. You can hear it, and it's off. A little bit of a pain in the ass. I think what I'm going to do is, right in here, you can see there's a spring. I think I'm just going to take that spring off. That way this door will sit open, because as it is, it springs closed, so that I have easy access to these buttons. Because having to put it in forward, then push the start button, then change the speed is a pain in the ass. Another thing on the front here, we got our depth gauge. Make sure that's loose. Put that on. Let me get over here where the sun's not reflecting so much. And you can see it's in 0. And then as I go down, you can see where is it? We're just over 30 millimeters, excuse me. Something that I don't like is every time I want to switch to inches, which is what I'm familiar with in terms of milling, you got to push that button, and then you can go down 300, 400, 500, 600 thou, 700 thou, 800 thou, 1 inch. You can adjust this. This is really difficult because of the reflections here, but you can adjust it. You're supposed to be able to adjust it. There it goes. It just takes a little bit longer than I expected. I don't know if I'd ever have a use for that, but it might come in handy at some point. If I take and tighten this guy down, okay, this no longer moves. Make sure this is loose. And now I control the whole thing with this dial right here. I always go the wrong way. But if you look at this, you can see the numbers. You can see this arm here. You can see that it spins. The numbers go down as I'm turning the dial. This feature I love. I expect to be using it quite often for delicate milling and stuff. And of course, if you go down to a certain depth, you mark that depth as the top of your work surface. You press the 0 button, it zeroes the whole thing. And I don't know if it's just my glasses. I'm wearing polarized glasses, but this is getting really difficult to see. You go down, you zero it, and then you can say, okay, now I want to go down another 100 thou to reach the depth of the thing that I want to mill, like I'm milling a pocket or something. You go down, you would use the dial. I'm sort of jerry-rigging it here with my finger or my hand. You go down your 100 thou and then you mill your pocket. So, that is the major features. Also, I should mention the head itself has a range of, I think it's 9 or 10 inches. The scale on the side does go up to, see if I can get that, 14 inches. It won't go that high. Let me show you. Also, no power feed. I could put a motor up here, but I'm choosing not to at the moment just to see how everything works. But as you can see, right here, we're going to only go up to 10.5 inches-ish. That's its maximum travel. But of course, you never want to leave it at the maximum. The table, you see 0 in the center, okay? The table will go all the way till this stop hits this stop at 8 inches. It'll go the other way 8 inches, so you got 16 inches of travel. And I'm not sure about the depth, like this way. I believe it's around 5 or 6 inches. It could be more than that. It's substantial enough that you'd never have to worry about it. Decent mill, so far. A lot of this stuff, if you're familiar with milling machines, you can make yourself. Hence, the fly cutter. I've got a drill trapped in the little T-slot over here. And then the camera ran out of memory, which is always a sign to me that I've been talking too long. So you guys have yourselves a good day.